Sixers fans, how we feeling out there? Hey y'all, my name is Lauren Gordon. Some of you may already know me on social media as Lauren Fan of the Year. Others may have just stumbled upon this podcast, but either way, I want to first thank all of you for tuning in to episode 16 of my very first podcast. I'm just a Sixers fan, the Lauren Fan of the Year story. Now let's continue the story. Y'all, on November 14th, 2018, my cousin Karen, my dad, and I flew to Orlando for Jimmy Butler's Sixers debut. He wouldn't play in front of the home crowd for a couple more days, but I could not wait. Jimmy was one of my favorite players in the league, and he was now a Philadelphia 76er. I had been to Orlando plenty of times for Walt Disney World, Universal Studios, and I even went on a few cruises that left from the Orlando port, but this was my very first Sixers road game, and I was super excited. We arrived at the hotel early before check-in and were told our rooms weren't ready yet. No big deal. Shoot, it was a Wednesday. I wasn't at work. I was in Florida in November, and it was a beautiful 82 degrees. We walked across the street to Waffle House. My dad treated us to breakfast. We walked back to the hotel. My dad was taking a nap on the poolside deck chairs, and Karen and I changed into our swimsuits, and we had the entire hotel pool to ourselves. We were like little kids, just splashing around, swimming laps, treading water, just having a ball. And once our rooms were finally ready, I showered, took a quick nap, then got ready for the game. My Jimmy Butler jersey didn't arrive in time, so I decided to wear my blue Ben Simmons number 25 jersey. Karen and I took a few pregame pictures, met up with my dad, and then Ubered to the Amway Center Arena. Fast forward to present day. I can say it's always fun walking around different NBA arenas. I always compare the concourse, the lighting, the noise level, which to me indicates the fan intensity, the food selection, the fans' behavior, and the music to what I'm used to in Philly. My dad, Karen, and I took photos at the photo booth and photos with the Orlando Magic dancers. We grabbed some snacks and headed to our lower level seats, and y'all, we were really close to the floor. The arena announcer announced the Philadelphia 76ers, and our guys came running out of the tunnel in their warm-up suits onto the floor. I stood up clapping frantically, and then I saw him. OMG, it was Jimmy. I was so happy to actually see him right there in front of me wearing a Sixers jersey, number 23. We lost that game 111 to 106, even though Jimmy had 14 points and Embiid had a 19-point, 13 rebound, 10 assist triple-double. The next morning, we checked out of the hotel, and I began receiving phone alerts and saw Facebook posts about possible snow back in Philly. Y'all, it's November. It's too early for snow. And I was thinking, even if it does snow, like, how bad can it be? Just a dusting, right? Well, y'all, we landed back in Philly, and it was a full-blown blizzard. I'm talking like inches on the ground. We had just left 82-degree weather in Florida. I was like, what in the world? And I remember when the airport shuttle dropped Karen and me off at my car, we were still wearing our flip-flops. And we had to clean off the car and drive very slowly up the blue route back to my apartment. And what is normally a 30-minute drive from the airport to my apartment turned into almost a 2-hour ride. It was even longer for Karen, who still had to jump into her car to get home. Even with the loss, the blizzard, it was still an incredible trip. I will never forget my very first Sixers road game. On November 17th, JJ Redick had a really good game, and I posted on Facebook, JJ is money all day. But Jimmy was the killer who made a buzzer beater bucket to win us the game. Jimmy was exactly the player we needed. The guy who wants to take the final shot and will die on the sword either way. I knew when the ball left his hands, it was going in. Yes, we were also at the time the only undefeated team at home in the entire league. I posted, Sixers fans are the best fans in the NBA. It will be hard as hell to beat us at home because the energy in the arena is so unbelievable. We just need to get some wins on the road. And it was true because we played well in front of the fans at home, but we struggled on the road. 2 days later, on November 19th, I posted, we are still undefeated at home. On November 20th, I noted Markelle Fultz to see shoulder specialist, not expected to return till further notice. On that same day, there were reports that Zaire Smith lost upwards of 20 pounds. He was already no bigger than a minute. And when I heard this news, I posted on Facebook, what the hell is going on? Hope he's okay. That would apply to Markelle and Zaire. Around this time, Fultz began to voice his frustration with being on the team, and it was reported on November 21st that he also had a wrist injury and was requesting a trade for a fresh start. On November 25th, just 11 days after we saw Jimmy's debut in Orlando, Karen and I decided to drive to Brooklyn to catch the Sixers-Nets game on the road at the Barclays Center in New York. Karen drove, and we were now on to our second road trip, the second in less than 2 weeks. We ate at a nearby restaurant, had some drinks, and then walked over to the arena. Again, we had great seats, lower level, close to the floor, and it was another close game. The same exact play as Jimmy's buzzer beater shot on November the 17th happened again, this time against the Nets. It was perfectly timed, and with the same precision, Jimmy hit that buzzer beater shot at our end of the court right there in front of us. Man, to get that win on the road was so exciting. We were on cloud nine, and it was the best ride home. We were riding back across the bridge back to Philly on a Sixers high. On November 23rd, it was announced that Embiid was the first 76er since Moses Malone to post 18 double-doubles over the first 20 games of a season. Wow. The pieces were finally coming together to build us a team that could make a serious playoff run, and in my opinion, could at least get us to the Eastern Conference Finals. I was in full-blown Sixers mania. It consumed most of my life. Remember, I had just left my husband, and I was just starting a new life on my own. At times, I would get sad and scared of the thought of being on my own for the rest of my life. But honestly, my love for the Sixers was a great distraction and was always my pick-me-up. On December 14th, my daughters Corey and Kendall called themselves having an intervention with me for my, and I'm doing air quotes here, y'all, Sixers addiction. They were like, Mom, all you do is talk about Sixers. Every conversation has to include the Sixers. All you wear is Sixers clothes, is Sixers this, Sixers that. You build your whole schedule around the Sixers schedule. We have to plan things with you around the Sixers schedule, yada, yada, yada. And y'all, I listened to them. And then I told them, I don't give a fudge. Y'all, I am grown, and it makes me happy, and I'm not bothering anyone. And their response was, yeah, Mom, that's what all addicts say. I'm laughing because they were saying that, but They were obviously joking, but it was true. I felt like at that point in my life, I had sacrificed so much for my kids and my family, and I give so much to everyone. The Sixers is the one thing that I give for myself, and I'm unapologetic for it. On December 16th, I posted, Ben Simmons may not shoot threes, but he still gets it done in many facets of the game. Y'all, it was reported at the time that Ben Simmons was the first player in the NBA to record 400 points, 200 assists, and 200 rebounds that season. Y'all, that's pretty impressive. On December 19th, my coworkers and team gave me a Sixers box seat gift set as a Christmas gift and to celebrate my recent promotion. It included 2 box seats for an upcoming Sixers game, Sixers stuff, lots of goodies, and I thought they must really love me, like really, really love me. For that game, I sat in the box seats and gave my season ticket seats to my kids. Sitting in the box seats gave me a different perspective of the game from what I was used to sitting in my regular seats. My coworkers and team knew that giving me anything Sixers and having that experience would mean a lot to me. And they were right. It was a great gift, and I knew they appreciated my contributions at work. Y'all, on December 20th, I witnessed J.J. Redick scoring his 10,000 career points just 5 days before Christmas. And it was at that time that I realized it had been almost a year since my separation, and it would be my first holiday season in 30 years without my husband. I'm not going to lie, it was difficult at times, but my kids, my family, and my Sixers got me through my first year on my own. And I began feeling optimistic going into 2019. The Sixers started the year off right, beating the Phoenix Suns 132-127 on January 2nd. That was a memorable game because by halftime, we had already scored 72 points. And I remember Embiid had 30 points by the half. Embiid ended up with 42 points that game. On January 13th, I noted that Ben Simmons shot a beautiful fadeaway jumper against the Knicks. And y'all, looking at this now, I'm trying to figure out what made Ben all of a sudden just stop shooting, because I have it written down right here that as of January the 13th, 2019, he was shooting fadeaway jumpers. The Sixers weren't the only ones off to a good start for 2019. I was starting the year off pretty lucky. On January 21st, pre-game, I was walking around the concourse and I stopped by the StubHub photo booth for my commemorative game photo, which I did every single game. I think I mentioned it before. It was part of my pre-game routine. This time, when I got my photo, it had a special green background marked Most Valuable Fan. It was a random draw, and I was the winner. And y'all, I was handed my prize, and it was an authentic Joel Embiid jersey. Seriously, what are the odds that I would be there at the right time? Y'all, I was fortunate to travel to Cairo, Egypt with my sister and daughter the week before my birthday. And it is hands down the most amazing place I've ever been. It's so rich in history. I mean, Egypt is located in Africa. It's the beginning of civilization. I was blessed to see the pyramids, the Sphinx, King Tut's mummy, the tomb, Pompeii's pillar, the Nile River, and so much stuff with my own eyes, not from a textbook. And it literally took my breath away. Even with all of that rich history, Egypt has cutting-edge technology. It's an incredible city, and I strongly recommend Egypt as a travel destination. The Egyptians are so nice, and to this day, I've even stayed in touch with our tour guide. So my daughter's sister and I spent 5 days in Egypt, and we returned on February 5th, the day before my birthday. I was glad because on my actual birthday, February 6th, there was a Sixers season ticket holder event at the Camden Aquarium. I was happy because I was able to go to Egypt and be back in time to attend the event. While enjoying the food and festivities, I took a photo with Furkan Korkmaz and Jonah Bolden, and in a smaller room off to the side, I was given a ticket to get Joel Embiid's autograph. I was so excited. I waited in a long line, and when it was my turn to approach the table where Embiid was sitting, holding a Sharpie, I walked up to the table with a huge, cheesy smile and said, "Embiid, hi!" And y'all, he never made eye contact. He just grabbed the card to sign, and I said, "Embiid, it's my birthday. Can you write happy birthday, Lauren?" Y'all, no lie. He looked at me, threw his arms up in the air as if he was annoyed that I said anything. I wish y'all could see me. You know how you'd be exasperated, you just throw up your arms like that? He did that. So confused by his response, I just stood there staring at him when a rep came over and knelt down beside him, and he whispered something to her. And the rep looked at me and said, "He's only signing his autograph, that's it." Embarrassed, I just said, "Okay," and walked away. As a fan, it was the weirdest experience I ever had with an NBA player. I always found players at fan events to be a lot more engaging, even if it is just eye contact and a smile. That same day, Wilson Chandler, Mike Muscala, Moose, and Landry Shamet were traded to the Clippers for Tobias Harris, Boban Marjanovic, and Mike Scott. I loved frickin' Mike Scott. Y'all, yes, I was part of the Hive. I loved Mike Scott's energy. Well, anyway, the following day on February the 7th, Markelle Fultz was traded to the Orlando Magic for Jonathan Simmons. Y'all, I was happy with all of these moves. I also loved having the Tobi and Bobby combo. It felt like it was a huge roster upgrade. On February the 8th, the late Moses Malone's number 2 jersey was retired at the Wells Fargo Center. His family was there to be honored during the ceremony in front of all the fans at halftime during that game. The magic of Moses must have been absorbed by Embiid because the following game on February the 10th, y'all, Embiid had 37 points, 14 rebounds, and shot 75% from the field against the Lakers. Now, y'all, I didn't have a favorable experience with Embiid, but man, I could not hate on this man's talent. That month, Embiid went to the All-Star game and had 12 rebounds. But what's interesting is he didn't score any points. Y'all, my Sixers were relevant again among the NBA. And for the first time, we finally had a solid squad. On February 19th, my guys were on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, and JJ Redick. This was the best Sixers roster I had seen in a long time. I love this squad. This was probably one of my most favorite squads. On February 25th, Ben Simmons made a 3-point attempt, and I kept yelling, "Keep shooting." Whether he made the basket or not, I just didn't want him to give up. I wish Ben would have just kept shooting. We all knew that Ben was talented and he was developing into becoming a great player. And we all knew that if Ben Simmons could just develop a jump shot, he could take his game to a whole new level. On February 28th, we played OKC, Oklahoma City, and at the time, we hadn't beat the Thunder since November 15th of 2008. Isn't that wild to think about? Well, Tobias stepped up big time and helped us get the win to break the 9-year curse. On March 2nd, I met former Sixer Andre Miller at a pregame fan meetup, and I was able to get his photo and autograph. Later that month, on March 20th, we put the ball in Jimmy's hand again, and in the closing seconds, he made a bucket that would be the dagger to give us the win against Boston. It's always special when we get a win like that, but it's extra special when we get it against the Celtics. On March 29th, it was finally Zaire Smith's NBA debut. And I noted that he did make a 3-point shot to help pull us out of a shooting drought. But it's a shame that he never really panned out. I've met him a couple times, and I thought he was a really good kid, and I hope he's doing well. A week later, on April the 5th, I was busy at work when I noticed an unrecognizable number on my cell phone. I was just staring at the phone, and reluctantly, I answered to hear a rep from NBC Sports Philadelphia tell me that I won a Sixers jacket. Y'all, it's a blue and gray varsity jacket with authentic fan embroidered on the back neckline. And I still have that jacket and I wear it all the time. I absolutely love that jacket. I was feeling really lucky in 2019. Remember, I had just won an Embiid jersey just a few months ago at the StubHub photo booth. And now I won an authentic fan varsity jacket from NBC Sports Philadelphia. To me, these were signs from God and the universe confirming and validating my love for the Sixers and a brighter life for myself. All right, so looking at my timeline, the next day, April 6th, it was announced that Bobby Jones was selected to be inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame. And I was thinking, it's about damn time. We're talking about Bobby Jones, the first player in NBA history to win the Sixth Man Award. He was also a key player in us winning a championship in 1983. I was happy to hear that he was finally being honored. Y'all know I love Bobby Jones. On game 82, we beat the Chicago Bulls 125-109 on our last game of the regular season. Our Sixers ended the 2018-2019 regular season with a winning record of 51-31. We clinched the third seed thanks to the Celtics' loss, and our first round opponent, the Brooklyn Nets, with Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Jarrett Allen, and that Jared Dudley. We'll get to him in the next episode. But y'all, this was the first time since the Allen Iverson era did I honestly believe that we had the best shot to win a championship. The regular season is one thing. The playoffs, as y'all know, that's a whole different story. I was fired up. It starts now. Let's go Sixers! Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And be sure to tune in next time for episode 17 as we continue the story.